You spend months prepping premium soil, watering daily, and waiting for a result that rarely matches the effort. Often, the season ends with a harvest that barely fills a single bowl. This happens because of the yield trap. We choose iconic, traditional crops, like corn, without accounting for the fact that they consume massive amounts of real estate for a very small return. Corn is wind-pollinated, requiring a dense 4 by 8 foot block to grow, yet you harvest just 1 ear per stalk. Compare that to cherry tomatoes. On a vertical trellis taking just 2 square feet, one plant produces over 100 fruits. Your biggest harvest remains a subjective goal until you define your constraints. You have to decide if you want raw unit volume, caloric density, or continuous regeneration. Achieving a massive harvest requires matching a plant's specific biological output to the space, time, and effort you actually have available. Treating all garden plants as equal investments is a direct path toward wasted space and depleted soil. To determine what belongs in a small garden, we use a return on investment quadrant. We plot maintenance effort against total harvest yield. In the top right corner, we find indeterminate cherry tomatoes, the ultimate vertical producer, occupying the high effort zone for a reason. These vining plants grow continuously until frost kills them. They maximize your footprint by wrapping around a vertical trellis, rather than spreading across your soil. Maintaining this level of production requires a specific pruning routine. You must remove the suckers, the small shoots in the V-joints, and strip away the lower leaves every week. If you skip this, the plant diverts its energy into useless foliage. This creates a dense canopy that traps moisture, making the plant highly susceptible to fungal diseases that can end your harvest early. These vertical producers offer unparalleled returns, but only if you commit to that weekly maintenance. Other crops dominate the high-yield category by acting as continuous generators with significantly less maintenance. Swiss chard and loose-leaf greens land in the top left quadrant. They offer high output for very low effort. They utilize the cut-and-come-again method. By snipping only the outer leaves and leaving the center intact, the plant continuously regenerates its foliage. A single square foot can provide a steady volume of greens for 6 months. However, the trade-off is caloric density. You are growing high volume with very little energy value. For continuous vertical protein, we look at pole beans. They require slightly more maintenance than greens, but sit just as high on the output axis. This production relies on a specific biological response. Harvesting the pods every 2 to 3 days while they are young forces the plant to keep generating new flowers. If you allow even a few pods to fully mature and swell, the plant receives a signal that its reproductive work is complete. It will then stop producing new fruit for the rest of the season. By interrupting the reproductive cycle, you keep the plant's biological engine running for months. While climbers save space, horizontal heavyweights provide the raw mass and calories vertical plants often lack. Potatoes plot very low on the effort axis, but max out our metric for carbohydrate-dense sustenance. They require physical depth rather than width. You must provide 12 to 18 inches of loose soil in a raised bed or a grow bag so the tubers can grow without resistance. The trade-off for these calories is time and real estate. Potatoes are a one-and-done crop that will monopolize a block of ground space for up to 130 days. For massive raw vegetable weight, bush zucchini is the standard. It sits centrally on effort but produces a huge volume of food. Selecting specific bush varieties prevents aggressive vines from smothering neighboring crops. These varieties keep their production contained to a single spot. You must pick the fruit at exactly 6 inches. Allowing them to grow larger makes them fibrous and signals the plant to stop producing new zucchini. Heavyweights deliver the most sustenance, but they require a calculated sacrifice of your available ground space. Choosing the right plants is only the first step. You have to arrange them into a system that matches your specific garden reality. Use this decision tree to find your ideal combination. Everything depends on your absolute biggest limitation. If you have minimal space, like a patio, avoid the heavyweights. Your system should rely on vertical producers, pruned cherry tomatoes, and Swiss chard. If your priority is calories, leafy greens are a poor investment. Dedicate your soil to potatoes for carbohydrates and pole beans for protein. For those who want constant turnover without intensive maintenance, the path leads to bush zucchini and fast-maturing crops. You can maximize this further with succession planting. sowing fast-growing radishes in the gaps around your zucchini, so no sunlight is wasted on bare soil. Your total harvest is a predictable outcome of how you manage plant biology. The largest yields belong to the gardeners who ruthlessly align their crop choices with the realities of their space and time.